Welcome back to the Maker Show. My name is Jeff Kresge, and in this episode we are going to go ahead and show you the steps on how to solder some limit switches, micro switches that we're going to put on the CNC plasma cutter. It's a short video. Hope you enjoy. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and tin these connections, and I think I'll tin them on basically all 4 switches at once. I'm going to do 4 switches on that carriage. Definitely want to tin this first. We're going to tin the wire as well. Get a nice puddle going on. I will just lay that wire right on there, and it'll immediately. Okay, so it's heating up, then it spreads. That means the metal's finally hot enough to accept the material. I like putting a puddle on there though, all with the tip of the iron. That way you can judge it, and the heat transfer I think is just a hair bit better. More of a contact with the tip. So you're spreading out the heat a little bit, I think. Could be totally wrong about that. I'm just laying the solder on. Hope you can see that. Turn these this way. I'll try to be out of the way. I'm going to heat it up and put a little bit on there. But it's not going to melt on there until that spade connector becomes up to temperature. And obviously you don't want to keep heat on it too long because you melt the switch. So it's good to wipe the end of your iron too. See how it got hot enough, and now I can even melt solder on there even after the iron's removed. So you definitely know you got it hot enough. You remove all the heat, and you can still make the solder flow. I'm enjoying my little electronics bench. Actually got this all set up the other day. I even have a microscope to do surface mount components. I did it unbelievably. I tried to fix my friend's remote for his drone, and obviously found where capacitor had broken, and I just pulled off one off random off a donor board, kind of just to see whether I could able to fix it or not. And it had conformal coating around it, which is the stuff that they put it on so the boards are more waterproof and stuff, more of an outdoor application, so they conformally coat it. Good for my everyone who owns one of those controllers, but bad for anyone who's trying to fix one of those controllers, because they don't have any even any part numbers. It's silk screened in on them because the components are so small that they're a hair of dust, a little breath of wind will just blow them away. So always wipe your iron before you put it back. And there we go. Got 4 tinned switches here. Now one's going to be normally open, one's going to be normally closed. I like to keep my options open. So and I'm going to use this wire too for the stepper motors. And but today we're going to use this for the switches. I had some like old telephone cord It's solid core, and I just thought with it twisting in that cable track that probably wasn't the best thing for it, so I decided to just use the more speaker cable. I pulled one of the conductors out, so I took a 4 lead and make it into a 3 lead. And this stuff, you just slide these wires around so easily inside the sheath because they're not twisted or anything. So I'm going to slide the common up a little bit so it can get up there, and then those are a little shorter, so I'm going to back them off a little bit, and then we are going to go ahead and tin all these individual wires now too. Let me twist that. It's a little bit long. I like to twist them up and then cut them off. Then we're gonna, so it's got some really nice fine end. Then we'll go ahead and put some solder on there, and I started learning about the maker movement about it was probably about 3 years ago now that started really becoming a thing, and kind of like what I'd done all my life. We forgot a very important thing. We need to put some heat shrink tubing over these. See, we want it to come all the way up and over. So we'll make them pretty long here. And we're going to use our hot air gun too to blow on these to shrink them down. It works super good. And you know, a lighter does perfectly well too. Propane torch. Just a plain old lighter in your pocket. If you have one of those, that'll work as well. So we're going to slip these over, and we want to keep them down as far as possible so they're not shrinking before we're done soldering. So I'll even pull those wires out a little bit more because we can easily adjust them. So I'm going to take my soldering iron, I'm going to heat that wire, and it's going to heat the switch, and they're going to become one just like that. Remove the iron, solidify it. Now red, I hadn't really chose which one to do, but red seems to want to go here, so we'll do red, black, green. At this point it doesn't matter. I will keep all the switches the same though. Do the subsequent ones like that. Pull all those back. It's a little more difficult. Ooh. There we go. Oh, see how it was still liquid from being hot. So I was able to get that one in. I'm going to flip this over. Need one of those like helping hands things. Just gives one to flip over on me. So once those are cool or almost cool, I'm going to slide these heat shrinks tubing over. Oh, maybe that one wasn't even cooled enough. It's shrinking down on me. This one's the most important because that one kind of up in there. So I'm going to go ahead and bathe this in heat now with my heat gun. And we're just going to shrink all these down as much as they can shrink. So that's pretty magical stuff. Alright. So then we're going to slide that cable back up in there. Let's say that's a very clean cable installation right there. If they all look like that, I'd be a happy boy. Well, thank you for watching. That was a great video on how to wire a limit switch or micro switch for a CNC machine. Sorry my hands were in the way through part of the video. I'll try to work on my camera angles in the future. So if you like this, please rate, comment, subscribe. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks a lot.